Seeing that it is 5:32, I call this meeting of the school board to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. First order of business is the minutes of the July 13th meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
I had to abstain. I wasn't here.
So moved.
And do I have a second?
A second.
I will also have to abstain as I was not here. Can we approve with only 3 people? All right, we will put that to the next meeting.
If that many abstain, we cannot.
Okay.
So we move that to the August 10th meeting.
We have Claude Ranks tonight in the audience.
All right, seeing that we have no visitors here in the room with us, we're going to move right to our administrative report, our financial update.
So I don't know if you had an opportunity to look at the reports at all. I have been working with the vendor to try to streamline my reports so I can generate them directly from the system and provide them, which is what I did at this time. I will, moving forward, I will include.
That's better.
Thank you.
I understand.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody here. We don't need to.
So moving forward, do I need to use this for Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, so moving forward, I will include summary like notes like I have in the past, but unless there's any significant objection, I would like to use this format. I'm going to continue to work with the software company to see if we can improve on it, but right now what I included, what went out with the agenda was a summary by function, excuse me. And then there was a 50-some page report that had all the detail, but it was grouped together by location or method. So it didn't exclude, it had method 1 summarized or totaled, and then method 2 and so on and so forth. But then it was by building. It's not by community, but it's better than the summary that I have been providing. It just doesn't group them together by community. So if that is really of significant concern, having it by community and not just building, then I'm going to need to do something different. Our chart of accounts won't allow for that within the system, but I can build another report, and it's just a matter of taking the time to try to do this so it's easy to generate.
I think this is great. It does give me a format that I was looking for, so I really do appreciate you taking the time to make this.
Okay. All right, so that's what I'll continue with. And just like an update on this last year, we're still working on reconciling accounts and grants. So this was a snapshot as of last week of where we're at for year end. There will still likely be some changes. Going forward, I also wanted to mention that I don't have the treasurer's report tonight. Got off kilter by not doing finance last week or last board meeting. So the next board meeting, I'll have the treasurer's report so we can be back on schedule for the first of the month. But as far as the reporting out for fiscal year 27, that's going to be a little bit delayed. There's a couple of reasons why. We have 2 major House bills that were just signed by the governor that take effect immediately. So those impact how we're going to be reporting and budgeting. So I need to separate all of my central office costs, my SAU costs. Those 2 bills have conflicting guidance as to what is classified as central office costs. So I'm trying to work with the attorney. I want to work with, I don't know if the state will help me with that or not, Department of Ed. But anyway, I need to collaborate with people to make sure that I'm doing it in such a way that it's going to cause us the least amount of grief at a later date. And then you'll be getting reports for the central office separate from the rest of the district. So we are a single district SAU, but it's still, the House bill, I think it was 564, took away that election where you could collapse it all in and just be one entity. So
I know it's 18 years since I sat in that seat, but when I left, it was just 2 functions.
Steve, do you have a microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because we'll need that for the people online. Thank you.
when I left 18 years ago, it was just 2 functions. And so it would be a simple lift. Have things changed? I mean, it's been a long time, so.
So I would like to think it's that simple, but the problem is that one of the House bills gets kind of nitty gritty and it's 3 functions. Assistant superintendent and CIA is a separate function, and I just need to make sure that I'm handling it appropriately, because I don't think that I've got to make sure that all of the special ed department is categorized appropriately. And so I can't just grab the functions. That's where I'll start. Definitely, I'll start with that.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah. Right. But that's where I'll start. But after speaking with my attorney, that's where I'll start. So anyway, so there's that issue. And then the other thing is that when you're starting the year in, as you know, 75 to 80% of our budget is associated with our salaries and our benefits. And so we spend a good part of the summer months getting those set up accurately, making sure that transfers are recorded properly, that our funding sources are transferred properly, and that, I think right now we've got about, I don't know, I think the last I knew it was about 7 or 8 vacancies maybe. So as those fill up, they get recorded. So these things impact how, what you see put forth in front of you. And that's where the bulk of my encumbrances come from. But that doesn't happen until they're all set up. And so we're working diligently on that. But until I get the SAU budget separated out and my payroll and benefits set up and vetted, then after that is done, then I'll start reporting out. So I would imagine that that'll be in September, because we should be ready for our first major payroll and have everything tested.
When do you submit the budget apportionment to the DRA? Is that in the fall?
Yes, that's when after the
After it all
DOE
shakes out.
25, you file your DOE 25, you go through the approval process or review process, and once everybody agrees, then we submit the apportionment. So that's also part of, I've got to make sure that any best interest students that moved in during the year are reflected in that accurately, and that our end of year numbers are reflected accurately, so the apportionments are allocated correctly. And I've got to make sure that any staffing transitions during the year are properly reflected. If you are it's possible to stay in a building, but go from a district program to a building program, which impacts the funding source. So there are things like that we're still working on reconciling.
So I have a question. So you're talking about end of year 26 information, but the new law has to do with FY 27, correct?
So the end of year 26, that's what we're working on reconciling, and that's what the apportionment that will flow into that. But then for my fiscal year 27 going forward, I have those laws, and I have to separate the accounting, and I have to get everything set up. So that reporting will be delayed until likely September.
Okay, but that shouldn't affect
26.
Right.
No,
Okay,
I'm
thank
continuing
you.
to work on 26. So I was going to share out the defaults again, and I was looking at it, and there are some accounts with negative balances, and okay, this looks funky. So I'm fixing that. What it is that when we were having our discussions, we would say, we're eliminating XYZ position. We know it's in this function. We know it will be in this area. So it all went into an account for ease of discussion, because then if that was changed, it's easier to remove it than if I had parsed it all out. So I need to go and parse all of those out so my accounts are accurate, and I don't have one account that's like a big negative number and all my little Benny's accounts, funded. So I'm working on that. I hope to have that done by the end of the week so that I can send that out.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
as it relates to FY 27, I'll use an example just so it's clear. This summer, a child who had an aide moves out of Charlestown, just an example. Another one moves into Walpole. So we're keeping the aide, but we're sending the aide to Walpole. The apportionment will reflect that before taxes are set.
So the apportionment reflects the actual activity for fiscal year 26.
Okay.
It doesn't, because we adjust the numbers and our actual numbers are in there. We put our actual budget in. We put in the student enrollment.
It's been a long time. I don't remember.
So on a higher level, yes, I'm going to capture all the pieces that I need to capture. This last year, we ran into a problem where I didn't capture the student enrollment properly.
Eventually, there's a point in time when you submit it, and that's it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
more stuff happens, you can't help that.
Exactly.
But we try and capture as much stuff as we can before we hand it in.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
So, and when I do bring that initial report for fiscal year 27, I will also likely have a budget transfer request that'll probably be a good size, but for that reason
Just
as
that
well.
purpose.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Because it's so much easier if we catch these things at the beginning of the school year instead of midway, because then we have to do a retroactive adjustment in payroll, and it gets messy. It's doable, but it gets messy. So I think that each year that I've been here, it's been cleaner for the positions and the discussions for budgeting, the discussions for recommended contracts and such. But we're to the point where HR is reconciling with Misty when we do contracts, and then HR is reconciling with payroll when we set them up, and then payroll is going to be reconciling with the budget to ensure that we're in the same place. So if we've issued a contract for a position that's in a different budget or funding source, I need to do a budget transfer because that change was based on our current need and not our need in November. So does that make sense?
Yes.
So, all right. And so if there are any other questions, please, I'm happy to entertain them, but otherwise I think that's all I have for you tonight. I did want to mention too, just, went back and double checked and there are questions about the bus lease that keeps coming up. So we purchased, no, that's okay. We budgeted for 4 to lease 4. We purchased 2 last year. We're going to be leasing 2 this year. Okay. So that generated a savings in this year's, budget to actual. And facility vans, we had budgeted to lease them. We outright purchased them last year. So that is also a savings. So it's about $90,000 between those 3 transactions.
Good. Thank you. All right, on to what is now old business. Chris, if you could give us an update on our CEO search.
Sure. So last week, our CEO advisory committee met for interviews. It consisted of a number of different teaching staff, support staff, principals, central office staff, and 3 board members. We also had some community members that were also involved. I want to give them a huge thank you for taking that afternoon to do that. The recommendations will be coming forward and that was our initial interview, will be coming forward to the board tonight in non-public, and we will continue with the interview process at the board level, I believe, tomorrow. So with the timeline condensed, our goal is to have a decision made foreseeably between now and the beginning of next week as a timeline. And I know there's a lot of questions regarding that, so hopefully that answers things. So the next step is for a second round with the candidates that are brought forward from the committee to the board tomorrow, and then moving forward into next week. So any questions in regards to that?
No.
Moving on to our Fall Mountain Regional School District Cooperative Review Committee. Just to give
for that committee.
it is quite long. Just to give a quick update, on Friday, we sent out emails to the people that have reached out. There are 12 community members that are excited about participating. Our first meeting is going to be August 3rd, next Monday at 5:30 at the library. We do have good representation. We do have a member from at least each town, which is a positive. We do have a little bit heavier in Charlestown and Walpole. With 12, we were thinking that we needed a few bit more. So if anybody is still interested, we will please reach out to Misty or myself, and we'll be glad to have a discussion with you in regards to what that could look like. Ideally, we're looking for a little bit more representation in some of the bigger towns. So that would be Charlestown. I would see one more person being beneficial to just round out the committee. But looking at it, we have 3 board members also joining, so it's going to be a 15-person committee, and there's going to be a lot of work when you look at not only the timeline, but going into next year. It's pretty extensive what we are going to be engaged with. So we look forward to that, and any questions from the board?
I know, would you grab that?
Choose.
I missed the last meeting where that was decided on board member representation, and I think Langdon and Alstead are not represented as far as board members, but I think, Sarah, you can represent those towns, right?
I will do my best.
Okay. I figured, and because I know, Steve, you're on it, right? And then I think Charlestown has someone on it, Chris. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to state that on the record. I figured you would. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, if there's anything specific that you want to have brought forward, why just contact me, and I will happily.
Now you said Charlestown and Walpole are more represented than the other towns. Do you feel that we need more representation from Alstead, Ackworth, or
So
Langdon?
right now we have 1 in Ackworth, 2 in Alstead, 2 in Charlestown, 2 in Langdon, 4 in Walpole, and that does not include board members.
Okay.
So that's why
Sorry, how long do they have to say that they're interested, or you already have your numbers, your people?
as I said, we could look at additional people. I think
Okay.
we're trying to round out the committee to the best of our ability. When you look at, we are a little Walpole heavy.
Yeah.
That's why I said we could use another Charlestown. When you look at the makeup of the board, that changes it a little bit. And in Ackworth, there's only 1, but it's a little bit smaller. So it's hard to, as we move forward, we may be looking at gaining more input. But you also have to remember we're going to be developing a communication plan with this committee, so that we are going to be reporting out not only to the board, but to residents within the community to be able to share what's being worked on. So there's going to be a number of different avenues for people to be engaged in this discussion.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So our next order of business is to discuss the committees that we have on this board. There are only 5 of us here, but as a rundown, we do have several different, and we are adding an additional committee. So we do have our budget committee representative, Krista. We have our negotiations team. We have our policy committee. We have a professional development committee, the career and technical ed subcommittee. We have the cooperative review committee, which is what we just discussed. And then we are bringing back the facilities committee in a greater opportunity. So I know that is something that Chris Baldwin was really interested in, and so he's not with us this evening, so we can have that discussion with him at another time. But is there another member of this board who has an interest in participating in a facilities committee?
Hey.
Hold on. Jamie is messaging me. She's not able to be here tonight, but she's probably listening. That's not what it was about. So,
Maybe.
potentially?
Yeah.
All right, so I will, I'll talk to Chris and I'll put you as a maybe. And then we will get more information about that forthcoming. The other committee that, as Lori alluded to, is involving the legislative body in the state of New Hampshire. There is so much going on in the state that we need to be kept ahead of so that we can be nimble in our budgeting, in the way we respond to things. I mean, things are happening so fast. For a bill to just be signed that we then have to budget this year to go on the warrant in March of 27 is a big ask. And so is there anybody here who would be interested in keeping an eye on those particular things in the state and reporting to us, keeping the district involved from the board perspective? I know Jamie is really good at that. Yeah. And I'm happy to as well.
I would be happy to help with that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it's okay with everyone, then I will put myself, Jamie, and Sarah.
Is there something that has to go on the warrant in November?
Potentially,
Potentially, yeah.
This warrant or the town warrant? Must be the town warrant.
No, the town warrant is in November, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a mandated article asking if the townspeople want to implement a tax cap on schools. And then, yeah.
How does that work with a cooperative if it's on 5 different warrants?
Well, I think it's a simple majority vote. Yeah, I believe it's a simple majority vote. And if they decide that, then there's a calculation. It's based on CPI and the certified increases due to new tax property. So not the valuations, but if you build something new or new construction, or that's my understanding, and that's going to be certified by the DRA. So I suspect that we're going to come to you with a budget, and we're not really going to know what our parameters are or limitations are for that budget until the vote occurs, and then the DRA, because all of the towns have to submit their paperwork, and assessments are the last thing to go in for a town.
And there's 2 SP2 towns and there's 3 not SP2 towns.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a simple majority? Oh, that's going to tip the balance.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of
So-
stupid piece of legislation is that?
It is, and this is the legislation that more specifically defines what should be considered an SAU service and what shouldn't be. So I don't know if that conflicts with our other rules. There's no discussion or consideration of the default budget and how that interplays with it. As is, there's no discussion. The other legislation that has been enacted requires that the SAU budget be voted on separately from the district, and it has to be the first warrant article after a bond. And it doesn't have a default. It has an alternate or adjusted budget calculation, which does not align with the default. So I have to figure out how to pull out
That's weird.
those pieces.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that it wasn't a
It's going to be a
default.
mess.
That's new.
But given, these are just facts, given that Charlestown is an SB2 town and Walpole isn't an SB2 town, I don't mean to be cynical, but I suspect we may have a tax cap coming our way. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. I don't like the idea of that at all, but just reading the room, if you will, that sounds like a risk.
And we have a
That'll happen to local control.
negotiation.
Jesus.
So yes, that highlights why a legislative committee is going to be exceedingly important in the next year. So I will have more on that at the August 10th meeting when we decide what the meeting schedule and such will be. Those, of course, are all open meetings. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts on our committees?
Yes. Steve and I are on the policies committee.
Yep.
So we have met a couple times to come up with a plan, how we're going to approach this. And so we've started going through the policies, starting with A's. And we've had discussions on that and some recommendations that we'll bring back to the board. We're on to the B's. So we're just going through them together and having discussions. We would like to put it out there for anyone else.
So
That would like
So
to
what I
be
was
involved.
going to say with the policy, we did create a timeline, hopefully, that will, policy committee definitely needs to be a priority as we move forward. We've had that discussion before, that every district has quite a few policies that need to be updated. We're no exception. We probably have a little bit more than other districts, but a lot of new legislation has changed policy. So a lot of schools are in the same boat. What we are proposing for the policy committee is, if we could, the second Monday of each month at 4 p.m. I don't know if that would work for you guys. So that's good to know. We'll have to find a different time. Ideally, on the policy committee, in the past, when it actually has been a committee, we have had representation from teachers and principals and others, so that it is a collaborative process. So that is what we intend to get back to.
Yeah, that's what we would like, but we didn't, time's passing by and nothing's happened. So
We got started
we
at
got
least.
started on it.
And I'll tell you, in A and B, we didn't come across too much.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the one thing we already agreed upon is, before we even get into A and B, there should be a preamble that says, if the federal or state law has changed and it conflicts with what's in any of these policies, that's what prevails. Because the likelihood of being able to comb through every reference in every policy to every RSA and every federal law, we'd need an attorney.
Right.
That's true. That's why we have the New Hampshire School Board Association on our
If
side.
we see something, sure, we'll catch it. But,
But also part of what has been making this a little slower is the transition to the Assembly system. So all of that is being uploaded into that system so that it makes it easier for us to get the updates, to get them out. And so there is process coming once that is fully integrated. And so Misty, if she was able to be here this evening, would have more information on that. So we will definitely have that discussion August 10th.
When you look at the other committees, the PD committee meets quarterly. Typically, it is the committee at central office involving all the teachers regarding the PD master plan. That is a scripted time at 3:30. So that would be the dates to be determined, but it would happen quarterly. The CTE representative, which is Sarah and Krista, typically there are 2 on-site visits in Keene that have been past practice, and then monthly report outs to the board. There's typically newsletters and things that come out from not only River Valley, but from Keene and Cheshire.
I also attend the River Valley board meeting. I'm on their board.
Perfect.
So
I'm on
all
the board of
those-
the River Valley.
All those details you're talking about right now, are they going to be in those procedures? So that everyone's consistently on board with what you're talking about. And I guess it's up to the committee, once we have a
Right.
committee other than just board members, to decide how they want to proceed.
Yep. So I guess next steps is having discussion on how does the board feel the committee should go. But this is just past practice, and I'm trying to outline what we have done until pretty much since COVID. We've had some on and offs with our board committees, and we want to get back to a routine schedule that's pretty much monthly, with some updates happening throughout to the board, so that we're using time effectively. So what I will do is, I didn't realize that this this was not in your packets. So what I will do is for next time, I will share this with everybody in regards to the committee. I think we do need to have a recommendation from the board for a legislative representative. And if you feel that is of value, then we need to put it as a committee and make that decision tonight so we can outline everything. And the facilities committee is the other one that when I went back to the meeting notes, that was not listed. So having those two added, then we can bring forward a complete schedule, taking in mind availability of you guys in the committee. So, and try to navigate that. Does that work for you?
Do you want a motion to create those two committees? I thought we actually had them.
I didn't see a motion for either of those, so that's why I was.
The facilities, I know we've discussed, but in that case, to make it formal in the minutes, can I have a motion to approve two new committees?
I make a motion that we approve two new committees.
And please know that they're advisory committees.
These are advisory committees.
Are they all advisory committees?
They are all advisory committees. So every committee will come back and essentially make a board report. And if there's anything you need action on, we will take action as a board.
Correct.
Can I have a second on the motion? Thank you. So is there any other discussion on those two particular committees? Does anybody have any questions, concerns about a facilities committee? Any? No, seeing none. How about the legislative committee? Okay, so if I could have board members send a message of interest. I mean, we have some idea about who wants to do those. I don't know as though that will change, but if there's anybody else who wants to send an email of interest, let me know. And then each of the individual committees can set their schedules over the next few weeks so that on August 10th, we can report out when those committees are meeting, get them on the calendar. They are all public meetings, even if as an advisory position. And then going from there, we will formalize all of them.
Chris is already on the facilities committee.
My understanding.
Are we looking for at least two, though, board members?
Well, if you and Chris were interested in doing so, that's who I have here.
If you can't find anybody else, I'll do it.
Okay. Well, if anybody else has an interest, then send a note. And honestly, if we have just one board member on that, and then we develop the rest of the committee with Joey and his department, we can work that way as well, and just like the budget committee, getting a report from a single board member monthly.
Can I just make one more note about the Tech Ed Committee? I have just been in communication with, we're setting our August board meeting date, and I wanted to be able to let you, Krista, know how you could at least be there and see what was going on. It's a public meeting, so I will give you the Zoom link for that. Excuse me, I'll give you the Zoom link for that, and then if you so choose, you can come in and see what we do. Okay.
Question, is there a message going out to the towns, like to the select boards, where they can post it on their websites about, hey, these are all the committees that are being formed. If you're interested, here's who you contact. Has that gone out already, or?
There has not been a communication regarding these committees specifically to the select boards, but all of these will be on the website. They'll be on the district calendar. And so if it would be important, I think, just to send an email out, perhaps to the chairs or the executive assistant of each of those boards, to just acknowledge that it's out there if they want to access it. Does that?
Well, I just think it would be nice to have one message from Chris or you to the towns, like boards, that they can. I know Elsa likes to post things from the school district on their website. I mean, I can create one, but then it's not consistent.
We can definitely create a district message. We did for the
big committee,
the big cooperative review committee, that did get broadcast to everybody, including selectmen. So that is pretty broad. as we get into these committees, we'll do the same messaging to hopefully build some interest and a collaborative, well-represented committee. That's what our intent is.
All right, any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor of forming the two committees? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you, the motion passes. On to new business, since we took all three of the committee topics in one fell swoop. Can I have a motion to approve the personnel list? And a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns with the personnel list?
It's a short list.
It is short. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we move on. The last order of business before we move to our non-public is the grant assurances, the application. So I'm going to let Chris discuss what we have.
So each year, Fall Mountain Regional School District is awarded 3 grants: the Perkins Grant, the Title Grants, Title I, Title II, Title IV, and even Title V sometimes, and then our IDEA, which is our special ed. The general assurances are a newer requirement this year, in which it comes to the board to let everybody at the public and the community and the board know that we will be taking federal funds, and we must abide by the laws that they outline. Just as specifically to our title grants, new legislation has come out in regards to certain things. Our consolidated application, which was kind of abbreviated but is now in your board packet, it is going to be posted online for public comment. It is going to be submitted hopefully tomorrow. When you look at that, we have our Title I allocation of a little over $500,000, our Title II at about $92,000, our Title V or our Title IV is about $65,000, and our Title V, which is our rural grant, is still pending, but it's about $10,000 to $12,000. So those are the grants that we need to bring forward. The consolidated app outlines the steps we are going to be taking to use those federal funds within the school district, and you'll be able to find that online. But we are going to be submitting that, and I just need to make the board aware that we are going to be accessing those funds for next year. Any questions? IDEA and Perkins, the grant assurances cover all our grants within our, the general assurances cover all the grants, but specifically the title grants are where the consolidated application is required to be posted for public comment. The other ones, as we move forward, will most likely have the same requirements in coming years, but right now it's just the title grants.
So at this time, can I have a motion to approve the board to sign the general assurances, requirements, and definitions for participation in the federal programs allowing us to access these funds?
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions, concerns? All right, then I will leave my signature with Chris this evening, and you can get those all submitted. Thank you.
Another vote I have to be here for.
Oh, only to go into non-public, but we'll wait for you.
Yes.
You don't have to second that or anything. It's just a motion, right? Are we supposed to?
Sarah second.
I
Sarah
seconded.
Did I not
seconded,
ask for?
and then a vote.
Yeah, you
I-
didn't ask.
You missed that
I'm so
piece.
sorry.
When he comes back, we'll.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I can't write that down because I'm not sure if it happened. Sorry.
All right, then we'll just hold for a moment. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next order of business is to move into non-public for under 91A :3, B, the hiring of any person as a public employee contract. Can I have a motion?
And again, as a public employee or what?
And contracts.
So moved.
And because it is non-public, we need a roll. So Krista, how do you vote?
Krista votes yes.
Karen, yes.
Steve, yes.
Sarah, yes.
Alyssa, yes. All right. Thank you all very much. We will be back in a while. I can't even say shortly. All right. We are back in session. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you so much.
All right.